So here we are. Welcome to the seminar. This is voice acting, the voice acting intensive by Tabetha McNeal. Tabetha McNeal is one of my classmates from IDSA and former classmates, still classmate. And she's one of the best voiceover artists I know. And she's here to shine that light on us and give us some seeds that we can plant to grow our careers in the direction of voice acting. And I am super excited to hear what she has to say. She's gonna give us the seminar, and then we'll have time to ask questions. And then, and this is being recorded, so whoever's watching it, why weren't you here when we were doing it? Okay, fine, you're forgiven, but enjoy and be blessed. Thank you, Tabetha, go for it.
So awesome. So just like Hedgie said, I'm Tabetha McNeal. I am an actress and a voice actress, and I do a bunch of other stuff. But for the moment, voice acting has been super prominent in my career. So first, I'm going to share my screen and undo this really cool PowerPoint that I have. Cool. And play. So again, this is a voice acting intensive. Everything you're going to learn about how I audition, how can you get into voiceover, and how it can actually be really easy for actors to start their career in voiceover. A little bit of a general education about what voiceover is. Again, I'm Tabetha McNeal. Number one, a little bit about me again. An actress, voiceover producer, and a coach. I actually started voiceover in September 2021. So only a couple of months ago that I just started. I've been cast in over 25 indie projects, video games, visual novels, audiobooks, animation, and more. And we'll get through that. And I'm experienced in both character and animation work. Next, we're gonna do a little bit of an intro to the industry. Don't mind the children of voiceover part. How to effectively budget with voiceover, recommended equipment. Okay, well, it won't let me move the little Zoom thing. Okay, so questions for you guys, if anyone can answer. Where have you heard about voiceover before? Anyone can go.
So you can pause the slideshow so that it'll give you time to do your stuff. Or are you comfortable? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So the question is, where us? Are you asking us?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm an actor. So I've heard about it. I've seen auditions about it. I've done a play for BBC Radio 4 as an ensemble, but I was the voiceover there, so we went to a professional place, which was my first professional paid voiceover. But I want to get into it more, so I saw this advert. KG's my classmates. I thought, take advantage, David, and get into it. I want to upload my the play that I was in, onto my Spotlight profile because I don't have a show reel yet. So I thought, why not put a voice reel over my Spotlight show reel profile? Sorry. So I'm learning. I'm very new. So yeah, but as an actor, I've heard of voiceovers. Basically, I should have said that in the first place, shouldn't I? Anyway.
Okay, and we can definitely help make sure that you get that on your Spotlight, so it's very easy to do. So, anyone else? Where have you heard of voiceover before?
Radio voiceovers. I remember a classic, The War of the Worlds. Started out as a radio show that got people panicking because they thought it was real, because people, there was a radio show of voice actors just doing the thing. And so and so cartoons, voiceover, video games. I've heard of video game voiceovers. I've heard of just radio plays or radio advertisement voiceovers. So that's where I've heard of voiceover before.
Yeah, same. So lots of anime, lots of cartoons, and radio. So Radio 4, kind of in the UK.
Oh, awesome. So most people know what voiceover is, right? You hear it all the time. So that's pretty easy. That's a little general question. See where you guys are at. Press play. No? Okay, here we go. You probably heard voiceover on Cartoon Network, video games, talking with people on TV. Next one is all about the industry of voiceover, right? Oh, okay. That one didn't show up. So we're gonna go back. How big is the voiceover industry? It's actually really, really huge when you think about how many minutes goes into a commercial every single day. Again, it's about 15 million per year in voiceover alone that you could possibly make just from one really solid commercial or a run through of a show that you're doing. Also, voiceover has multiple facets. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second. I'm gonna pull up. Okay, there we go. Okay, so first thing about voiceover, it is 100% about acting more than it is your voice. So if we're already actors here, we've obviously all gone to IDSA. We know what we're doing when we're looking at a script, right? So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a sample script that I have where this is actually how I'll start auditioning for projects, and this is how it looks for me. Let's pull one up. Great. Can everyone see this? Awesome. So this is basically how a voiceover audition would go. Looks like a regular acting audition, right? Nothing too serious. You have your characters, you have your dialogue, and you may have a little bit of about what the thing is about. It's about Greg and Junior. They're just a bunch of kids. You can tell that this is maybe a cartoon show just by the verbiage of what they use. They're little kids playing basketball. And it looks regular, right? There's not a really big difference when it comes to voice acting and acting. It's just, can I portray this character in a very real way as if I was doing it on stage? That's it. Also with voices, right? You can use a plethora of voices in voiceover. You don't have to sound like yourself. That's the cool part of doing character work, right? We don't sound like this all the time. So all those weird voices that you've been using for, I don't know, however long how old you are, it's the perfect time to use it in voiceover. So Jazz, for instance, is played by a girl, and the thing that I got in the email was just like, yeah, she's a girl, be great. That's it. See what you can do with it. And a lot of times they're not going to give you like, hey, she's cool, she's chill. So you have to make these characters up and feel like how they would sound to you. So if you were reading this as an actor, hey, do you want to play? I want to change the world. Like, you can use all of these kind of weird voices to one that sounds right to you. Cool thing about voiceover is that once I have that character in mind, that's my character for the entire scene. Same way as I would do in acting. You still have to use emotions. I still can cry. I still can get upset, right? Most of you talked about like radio shows. Keji talked about The World of Worlds, where they were really hyping people up thinking that aliens were outside of our house. I still have to convey emotion. The fact that they made everyone think that aliens were literally outside our house and everyone's evacuating, you conveyed something to me. You actually instilled fear into me. So if I can do that with my voice, imagine what I can do on stage and vice versa. So the same elements that you're using in your regular acting work should go into your voice acting work. Nothing changes, but maybe just the way you say it, right? If you're looking for a guy that is, let's see, I'm gonna go back and, did it stop sharing my screen? It did? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna actually show you guys some other ones, and then we can actually practice a little bit together. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to blurt them out. I don't mind.
So two things. So you said voice acting has many assets. What does that mean? And then second, could you take us through your journey from 0 to 100?
Oh, okay. we'll start with the 0 to 100, right? So most voice acting, most work that you'll get as a voice actor are commercials. They make the most money. In anime, cartoons, animation, wherever you want to call it, you're not going to make nothing super substantial unless you're a part of those bigger shows. So your first work as a voice actor will probably be a commercial, which is great because, you know, you get to have a lot of money, people get to hear your voice. But the cool thing is, it's not just commercials, right? Again, voiceover has many assets. You don't have to just do commercials, you can do promo. That person that you hear that's like, next time on CBS or next time on BBC, that's a job. You can literally do that for the rest of your life and no one will ever know who your voice is, but you're literally making the most money out of people who are on the show because you're introducing the show. So commercials are all about selling a product while animation is keeping you in it. That's it. So it has some pretty interesting things that you can get into. For me personally, I did not start in commercial. Commercials are a little hard for me. I don't like commercials, but I know that they will make me the most money. So if I was doing a Crest commercial or any kind of toothpaste commercial, that payout is about 10K with residuals. So that's what, maybe 300 a month that I'm getting from that commercial, which is great. It's awesome. And then they keep it for like a year. So I can't go do, if I did Colgate, I can't go do Crest. The same way if I was with Verizon, I couldn't go do Sprint unless the contract was over. So when you're doing commercials, the one thing you should be mindful of is, do I like this product enough for them to keep me for 2 to 5 years? Because I cannot do competition. So when you're looking at it, it's like, okay, should I be doing this? Or maybe if I wait 2 weeks, Crest might give me 50K. You never know. That's the crazy thing about commercials. You do not know what that buyout is until they tell you.
That's not something great.
Mhm.
The voiceover gets paid more than the actors.
Sometimes, yes.
Right.
It sounds insane, but
Mm.
I'll say this: an actor, when we're watching a TV series, they could just be killed off. But as a voice actor, I could be there every day. You never see me. So if I'm doing promo for the movie, right? And I'll actually show you some examples of my really good friend Gabe, who does a lot of amazing trailers. You may get just as much as the actor who is playing in the Batman movie because you did the trailer for it, right? The trailer is everything. We can be like, oh my gosh, I want to go see this new Batman movie with this new amazing actor. That's awesome, right? Everyone loves Batman. But I'm looking at the trailer to see if it's good. I'm pulling you in. So I'm getting more money for the trailer than I am than acting in it. Weird thing, but don't. You're making so much more just by introducing it. So if I was like, yeah, there's going to be a Frozen 2, and now all the kids are like, it's going to be Frozen 2. That girl just said it. What are you seeing most on Instagram? You're seeing the trailer than the actors who are in it. Very simple on that one.
So, oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I was going to answer your question.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, Keji. How was it?
So you talked about how commercials is the biggest piece of the pie, and how those are probably going to be the first acting gigs that we get, although for you it wasn't. So how's that journey?
So for me, I knew that I had voices, right? I had kind of the character types you would think as an actor, little girl voice or Southern Belle or little gangster girl, like I had those kind of voices. Or maybe you can sound like a little boy or a little girl, or an old person, a senior. All of those voices that probably wouldn't work on regular TV works in voice acting. So I knew I had those voices and I started auditioning. A lot of my voices, because I have a very mid-tone voice, I'm very soft-spoken, but in characters I can actually go really, really high-pitched. And so once you find out what your vocal range is, If anyone's a singer, you probably know what that is. But if you're not, your vocal range is how high and how deep you can go. So if you're a guy, for example, you may hit those lower ranges really, really well. You may can go as deep as possible, but you may not get to those kind of higher ranges that you would find in more maybe female voices. But that's perfect, right? The deeper you can go, the more interesting you sound. And those are your characters. So when you're starting to look for auditions, it's like, hey, I'm looking for a mid-tone guy to voice a commercial for me. Audition for it. You have the perfect voice for it. So I hopefully that answered your question about just trying to figure out what your vocal range is. Only you would know that, knowing how high and low you can go.
So can you? I mean, which was going to be my next question. Like, I know for a fact that there's some subtle differences, like voiceover and on the stage,
Yeah.
i.e., your voice is your instrument. So even your characterization, you see some voiceovers all over the place because they're putting any energy into that voice. So is there any training where you trained for like a little while, or do you suggest train up for maybe for some time, or
I
you know
think
what I mean?
yeah, I think voice acting is the thing you can really just jump into.
Okay.
If you
As an
did not,
actor.
yeah, as an actor, like
Right.
once you establish you're already an actor and you know about script breakdowns and how to look at a script, how to develop a full character, I think actors have a huge advantage to people to getting into voiceover rather than people that don't know how to act.
Fair enough.
A huge advantage because we know what we're doing, right? It's literally us still doing all these crazy things, like you said, putting our full body into a character, but now you just won't see us doing it. That's all. You're just literally listening to our voice. So even when I'm in my closet, I'm still have to move, right? So if I'm a soldier, I may go get like a little toy gun and like hold it just to kind of feel how I'm being in the scene because I'm not on a set where the lights and the people and all these things are around me to fully immerse me. So a good way to really maybe get into character as far as seeing kind of a bigger picture around you without seeing it is take a nice improv class. I highly recommend that. And I'll have some examples. I'll put the links down in the chat for some amazing improv classes, but take a short improv class. Again, we're already actors, we know what to do. So our only thing is now is how do we take all of this kind of stuff we've learned over the years and put it into a voice? Because when people are listening, they can't see you. So you can make all the crazy faces and just do whatever it feels how to get that voice. They just want to hear, hey, does this person make me feel something? And if they do, they're going to pick you. And I'll show you some examples of how someone's voice can make you feel and how it may sound good, but there's no acting. So I'll show you some examples of how that really sounds so you can get used to it. So, let's see. Is this the one?
So back to my question.
Go ahead, because I'm
Okay,
looking for
so
something.
we're going on your journey, right? We're going on your journey, and you said you had these voices, and you said, "Look, I have this talent. I know I do. People tell me I do, and let me start auditioning." So, did you put together a reel? Where were you auditioning at? Where did you find these auditions? How did you go about doing that?
Yeah, I'm gonna start putting those links because I have it all right here. So I started asking around. I was like, okay, where can I find these voiceover auditions? Because I don't have an agent, right? So I'm not having someone send me auditions all the time. And a lot of times, voice actors don't have agents. A lot of times people want to keep that money because once you decide you want to be a voiceover actor, it's your business. Acting is a business, but so is voice acting. Now you start from scratch. I have to network, I have to talk to people. Even if you don't have money for classes, I'm going to give you guys some scripts that you guys can look over and start recording, right? And we'll talk about mics and stuff in a little bit, but want to establish that it really is all about your acting. So I went to if it will let me copy and paste, I went to a place called Casting Call Club. So imagine a spotlight or an actor's access voiceover. I'm gonna put it in the chat. So I started auditioning on there. I made a free account. It's free anyway, but if you're someone that's like, hey, I want to look at like my stats and people seeing what I'm doing, you can pay for it, but I don't recommend it. It's not worth it. So Casting Call Club. Once you make your account, you do not need a demo reel as a voice actor. You don't at all until a little bit later, once you've maybe start taking some classes. I probably made mine a little too early at the time because I just wanted something. So speaking from experience, you don't need one unless you're really, really ready for a voiceover demo reel. If you want to do animation or character work, you might be perfectly fine by taking one-off commercial class and getting a demo reel. That's fine. But when it comes to commercial and animation, they want to see you do distinct characters with different voices. So can I convey 7 characters in 1 minute? Or 5 strong ones, right? So I will give you a little snippet of my own computer audio share, and I'll let you kind of listen to mine. All right.
Get away from my seat, you sorry excuse for a mage.
Yes.
Your party tricks don't belong in this classroom. Now move, or I'll teleport you out the door myself. We only have this one chance to take down the central tower, and it's a chance I'm willing to take. I won't let anyone die under my watch. Not anymore.
So I'm gonna pause it right there. Those are 2 characters, right? That first one is kind of like my bully character. Okay. And again, same characters you can probably see in like a regular acting show, the bully, the jock, the nerd. All of those can be characters. It's just, how do you make them sound, right? My bully sounds just like my regular voice. Pretty simple. But my warrior voice with the music behind it, it kind of gives you a little immersive type of situation. It's actually a little bit higher than my normal register. So I have my bully. I have my warrior voice. Gonna keep going.
Ooh, so this is where all the kids have been going off to play. Surely they won't mind if Mr. Razor and I join in for a little fun too.
Another character that I can play is that little kid with a kind of little high-pitched nerdy voice. Go ahead.
So this is part of your demo reel that you made at the beginning, right? Or this is your current demo reel?
This is my current demo reel, yes.
Okay, so and this showcases that you're ready for the big cartoon, the big voiceovers, the animation, and all that.
Or it can kind of show that I can just do characters. That's all.
Okay, and you, but prior to this, you said we don't need a demo reel. So connect those 2 thoughts.
Mm-hmm. So you really don't need a demo reel because they're going to hear you in the audition, right? So a demo reel is basically for people who's like, yeah, we have some characters, but we don't know how we want them to sound yet. So can we hear your range? A demo reel is really just to show your range as a voice actor.
So they can request one from you, but when you go to Casting Call Club, you don't need to upload a demo reel. You're gonna see auditions on there, and you can apply for them. And when you apply, what occurs when you apply?
Share my screen because I'll show you mine.
Can I just say first that, I mean, like you said, like you don't need a demo reel. It sounds like, and tell me if I'm wrong, that before you get a demo reel, that's when you're kind of more established, when you actually know what voice, what direction you're gonna go in. Then you would do that. Does that make sense? Is that what you're saying? Right.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if you know for a fact you want to do just animation work, just animation and character work, and you feel like you have enough characters in your work that you can provide to people, let's start
Go for
making
it.
this demo reel. But you don't necessarily need one unless you know you have distinct characters you can do. And you'll figure out what characters you can do when you start auditioning. And you're like, ooh, that's one I can always do. So for me, I try to have like 3 voices that I can continuously do in projects. It doesn't matter what it is. So if it's a video game, I have my silly little girl voice. If it's a cartoon, I have my, like, this is totally rad, dude. Like, I have my skater boy voice. Whatever it is, I can audition for multiple projects with that same voice. And it works. So figure out what kind of characters and write them down. If you're looking at cartoons or anime and you're like, I can sound like this anime character. You don't have to be exact, but it's like, ooh, I sound like this. Okay. What kind of character is that person playing? Is he the big bully? Is he the father type of person? Right? When you have that really nice demeanor, you can be a father in 16 animation shows and sound the same. That's what a lot of anime is. It's literally them with that same voice in a different show. And that's like, oh my God, that's so-and-so from that show. Like the guy that plays Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove, if you know what his voice sounds like. He plays
the voice
in a lot
of Joe on Family Guy.
Yes, the voice on Joe on Family Guy. A very distinct voice. Nothing changes in his voice, but we know exactly who that is when we hear it. That's a voice actor who never has to do anything else because he's found his distinct voice. So when you find those 3 or 5 or 7 or 20 or just one, figure out what else you can do with that. So I'm going to share my screen. Desktop. Right here. Okay, can everyone see my casting call club? Perfect. So this is what casting call club looks like. It's pretty awesome. Casting call club allows you to not only reach other people while connecting, but again, as you can see, they have 12,000 new jobs each month. So there should be no reason you're not auditioning 5 times a week. Honestly. And they also do classes as well. And their classes are all online. So you can do voice acting, you can do speech, writing, YouTube marketing, a lot more stuff that they have. Cool thing about it is that you're going to get casting calls. If you're a video editor, an audio engineer, that would be awesome for you, Keji. A music composer, if you're someone who's like, hey, I'm still trying to build my, resume for voice acting, but I love to do music. Or I'm a director, or maybe you can draw and I can be an animator or an artist. So many things. Plus, you've probably seen a bunch of people from Casting Call Club actually get jobs from these people right here, from Mass Effect, Sesame Street, BBC, Microsoft, Pepsi. Bunch of opportunities here, but I'm going to show you my profile. So once you make your profile, as you can see, it is Tabetha McNeal VA, which is voice actor. Figure out a cool name for yourself. I keep it real simple because I'm also an actor, so I want people to follow a specific journey. But if you want to make a cool name for yourself as a voice actor, do it. This is the one place where you can kind of reinvent yourself, right? If you want to call yourself like
Mac Power.
Yeah. Mac Power or like Stay Woke or whatever, like do it. Voice acting, because no one has to know who you are. That's one thing about voice acting. No one has to know who you really are. As an actor, we have to show our face. We have to be on TV and film. But as a voice actor, you can actually kind of be a little discreet. Or have your voice acting career could be a whole alias and no one will ever know. So, but for me, the McNeal VA, I do have a little picture, but you will not see my headshot in my VO career. We're going to go down a little bit and we're just a nice little introduction, right? For me, my introduction is, are you looking for your next strong female lead? Because I can play those really strong characters. So write a little bio about yourself. What kind of roles do you want to play, right? If you want to be the nerdy kid, the helpful father, the kicking butt gunslinger, write all of that down and try to figure out what those voices are. Cool. And I'm also going to show you guys my resume and my website. Once you start kind of getting a little bit more established as a voice actor, you will have to have a website. Same way as being an actor, that could just probably be a part of your own actor's website, but it just helps people find you a little bit more. Because voice acting is its own circle, its own sphere. Even though it's still acting, a lot of voice actors don't take acting classes at all. They're starting to now because the industry is wanting more from voice actors. They want real characters. 30 years ago, where you were probably watching Saturday cartoons and they were funny and they were cute, yeah, they were nice. They were awesome. But now we're looking for emotion, right? If you've ever seen BoJack Horseman or those kind of more adult animation shows, they're tackling some really real subjects. And they need real people to convey those emotions. And who could do it better than actors who already know how to act? Which is why now a lot of voice actors like, oh snap, I need to go take acting classes. I need to learn method. I need to do all of these things because I'm not booking anymore just based off of, I can do a little kid voice. No, I need to actually feel something. So this is how casting call looks. I'm going to show you, actually, if I can go to my submissions. So these are my submissions. Super transparent. I've only auditioned for 76 projects on Casting Call Club. The 76. 6 of them I did not get. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. There's more. This is the ones that are just dismissed. 6 of them I did not get, but I'll actually let you listen to them as well. So this is how I'm trying to look for a good one where it will show you something. So I'll go to.
Sorry, you said you casted for 76.
Yeah, so I auditioned for 76 projects.
And you got 70.
No, I got about 30 of them though.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's more wholesome and more fulfilling than physical than an actor.
But like, it's easy.
I mean, yeah, because with film or screen, it's a look as well, and you might have the voice. It's a look. It's so many other things, but it's just that voice, and you can do so many things with a voice if you know, if it's your thing.
Yeah.
So, because I'm hearing that a lot, there's money in it, and we had lockdown as well.
Yeah.
So Zoom and it all took off, and then people actually feel relaxed listening to a play instead of going to watch a play. So yeah, it's interesting.
And that's the cool part, right? You don't have to see me. I'm literally in my pajamas in my closet like all the time. And every once in a while, maybe they have like a meeting. And it's like, I just want to see your face, a little one-to-one. But most of the time, they just want to see, can you do that voice? And like you said, quarantine happened. And I think that's where voiceover got huge for everyone. I can't go out and see this play. So let's get all the voice actors together at their house because we can't meet up. And let's do this play online with just their voices. And can I still feel the same things I felt when I was in the theater? Yeah, I can. And it still makes me happy. So love that you said that because audio dramas, radio plays, they are on a huge rise. Even virtual theater is on a huge rise just because a lot of people can't go into theaters, right? I mean, some people are still at home and they don't want to come outside. So getting to hear a play that I've already seen in this version where it's a little bit more intimate, where I can hear you and that music. I can sit, in a theater super far away and I could never see you, but right here, it's so much more intimate between us and a little bit more connection. So, and you can audition way more in voiceover than you can for TV and film, right? I have to go to the casting. I have to get in a veil. I have to say if they like me. I can get all the way up to the producer and they'll be like, nah, I want to go with someone else. But with voice acting, it's like, that's good enough. You got it. So it's easy.
So right after this, as you're going through, could you tell us about assets and then the tools needed to record something as good quality as you are about to show us?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
so
actually
go
let you
ahead,
hear.
do what you're doing, and then
Okay, so after this, I'll actually let you hear a little bit of a difference between my expensive microphone and my other one, what I started with. So a project like this, for instance, I auditioned for this project. It's an animation. This is how it kind of looks. So the category would be animation. The franchise is just a non-original comic. Someone made this. It's really easy. And it'll look kind of like a regular breakdown for an actor. So it'll give you a little bit about the history of what this show that they're making is about, what the series is about. But this right here is important, is what I'm looking for. The same way it would kind of be for you if you were an actor, like, hey, I want it to be kind of like shot from head to chest, or I want a full body. It's the same thing in voice acting. So quality is everything, but you do not need an expensive microphone to do voiceover at all. You don't. Do not be like me and go out into the streets and be like, I'm going to get this one. Made a mistake, but it's cool because it's 100% works. But you just need a really good quality microphone that they can hear you from. And clear, right? It doesn't matter. Even if you have an accent, go audition for these roles. It doesn't matter if you're whatever, wherever you live at, audition for everything. That's one too. Unless it specifically says, don't, but audition for everything. Let's see. As a voice actor, they would like to know your availability because you still have a life. And sometimes they want to kind of have a session with you, maybe a practice session, maybe a rehearsal, but it doesn't need to be anything crazy. And we'll talk about Discord and all of that, but I'll actually let you listen to some other ones. Let's see. Well, can you hear that? No? Okay. Huh. It doesn't let you.
I think you can reshare your audio. You were sharing audio before. You're not sharing audio anymore.
Okay. Gotcha. Computer audio. Huh, it doesn't let you share the screen and do computer audio, but that's fine. So I'm just gonna let you hear how it badly would sound.
I don't recognize the boy, but the swordsman I know all too well. What happened? As you wish, do what you must. I'll warn you if trouble comes our way.
You feel anything in that?
I mean, I guess it depends on who's listening, right? But
Be honest, because this is how they're gonna listen to it in the audition.
Yeah, but see, from my perspective, I like to be very objective about other actors' work, and so, but I do understand where there it could be flat, right? It could be flat, and it could be a bit more energy. But yeah,
Exactly.
I hear.
And honestly, even though you want to say a little, like you don't want to critique someone's work, that's the exact feedback you're going to get if they give you feedback. They're going to be like, okay, this is a little good job. I like the voice, but it was flat. They're going to be super honest because it's all about your voice. He may very well do an amazing job when I'm looking at him if we were on TV and film, and we'll be like, that's perfect. That's exactly what we were looking for. The emotion was great. But listening to it wise, am I feeling something? Exact feedback. And then this one.
Tabetha McNeal. Seriously? A tiny thing causing that much havoc? Seriously? A tiny thing causing that much havoc?
A little bit more emotion, right? Obviously, that was me, but still, I'd play like a little kid. Have fun with it. Those highs and lows that you may think are like, oh, I can never do this in acting, I can do it in voiceover. So if you have like a little creak in your neck, if I'm a little kid, maybe I'm just going through puberty, right? Like those little things that we hide as actors on TV and film work perfectly in voiceover. So if I was just a little dude and I'm just like, this is like, if I'm doing all of that, they're gonna be like, whoa, that was a whole character there. That's exactly how I wanted that person to sound. Instead of someone that's like, this is really amazing. You look awesome. Be an actor. That's all. That's what they want to see, is actors doing a voice. As some people would say, voice acting is all about big A, little V. All about the acting, not so much about a voice. So I'm going to go back and share my screen, and then we're going to talk about microphones. So right now, if I can get out, or if you can see it, I have a Sennheiser MKE 600 actually. One of these microphones, this is a shotgun microphone. With a shotgun microphone, it is better for people who have a closet space, who do not have a big home studio setup. So a home studio for a voice actor would be a treated space with like acoustic panels, things that are going to really dampen that noise, because you really want your voiceover to sound clean and clear. Like you heard in that last one, you kind of heard like the shh. Yeah, you kind of heard that stuff. They want it to be clear, because when you're sending it over to them, yeah, you can kind of clean it up, but they want a clear tone, so it's easier for them to just put on a character and go.
Right, I got, where I live, it's weird because I got my kitchen there, there's a window there, there's a window there, the bedroom, there's a window there. I've got, and it's not a main road, but I can hear noise all around. And then I've got a cupboard. And I'm thinking, if I was to do it, I'll go in my cupboard and put stuff up and put a little light on. I don't know, would that work? Yeah.
Would. Yeah, it actually would work. So.
And another thing, just quickly, now, would you use your laptop? So if you, because I'm really bad at the digital world, I'm really bad. Everybody knows, occasionally knows that I'm terrible. So would you put your shotgun mic into your laptop and it would sound different if you put a different mic in? Okay.
You can use anything. Like you can honestly, there's a couple of plugins that you can actually just use your phone as well. I'm going to send you guys the recording thing that I use. It's called Audacity, and I record right through my computer into my audio interface. But I'm going to show you a little bit of a difference, because if you're just starting out, at a certain point, you would need an XLR microphone, but you can start off with just a USB. So I'm going to show you a little bit of a difference of how that sounds. Give me 1 second. I'm going to unplug.
So I can speak on that while you're setting up. So I am a sound engineer and a music producer, and
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
You know that.
You'll be getting calls early in the morning again then.
Yep, call me anytime. Call me anytime for advice on any of this stuff. But yes, so Tabetha's absolutely right. Is make sure you're in a closed space. A shotgun microphone is advisable for you to get the voice signal directly into the microphone. That's a good place to start. If you have your laptop, what you need is two more things. You need a digital sound card.
Well, let me just write that down.
Yes, you need a digital sound card and a microphone that connects to that digital sound card. Those two things.
Right. And then I can use that in my computer, and I can
yes,
go. Wow.
Exactly. And then plus Audacity that Tabetha's talking about. So that Audacity works on Macs. I think it also works on Windows. Tabetha, could you confirm?
Yeah, it does.
I think it works on Windows. I will clarify, but Audacity is free. And so don't destroy your microphone. Yes. So back to you, Tabetha.
So I don't know if you can hear a little bit of a difference between, yes, between my Rode USB microphone and my big girl Sennheiser. This is so when I first started, I just did voiceovers right from my very echoey room. I still booked, but it sounds disgusting. Actually, I still have that. I still have it. Okay, I'm actually gonna let you guys. I'm gonna let you guys listen to my first couple of auditions with my horrible mic. Okay. Share audience. It's so embarrassing. Okay. So this is a project that I booked. I played a little kid with this microphone.
Hey, no fair. Give that here. Hey, no fair. Give that here.
So, as you can see, that sounded disgusting. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, not disgusting. I mean, I wouldn't say disgusting. I mean, it's your voice, so you would because it's you. That's how we are as performers, aren't we? I used to vomit doing my self-takes, looking at myself for a little while. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then plus we've heard the good microphone already, so we can tell the difference. Do you know? It's amazing because I use my what do you call it, iPhone for self-tapes. And I can actually hear the echo when I do it, but because it's a look and what you're doing with your body, it doesn't matter. But as you said, it's a voice, so it has to be refined and excellent, doesn't it? Do you know?
And it's using a USB microphone isn't bad, but if you have a USB microphone, and like you said, I have a little cupboard, if I can get some blankets, some pillows or whatever to really dampen that sound, I can sound perfect here. I can actually sound like this expensive microphone if I do it right. So you can start off with a very kind of cheap, I would recommend this one. It is the Rode one, or you can get like a Blue Yeti. Those are perfect, pretty cheap. I would highly recommend a Blue Yeti, not the Snowball though.
Yes, and so very good point. So the USB microphones don't require the digital sound card. They go directly into your system. But as actors, do the digital sound card and the microphone. I'll tell you why. Because then 5-10 years, you don't need to replace that equipment. You don't need to do, because you're already an actor, you want to do voice acting. It's a long-term commitment. Get your digital sound card and the microphone that you can get with it. We can talk about brands and a small package. I can put something together and I'll send it to you. Just hit me up via DM or send me a number. Or Tabetha, are you okay with me doing that?
And they can we'll make up a nice little package for y'all because I do have some microphone recommendations.
And then I'll do a Windows thing. Go, okay, this software, this digital card, and this microphone, and then this software, this digital card, this microphone, and then maybe a follow-up seminar would be recording your voice, cleaning the noise out, before turning it in.
All the difference.
Turn your volume up a little bit, Tabitha.
Oh, my bad. How about now?
Better. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. So now we're going to talk about this little thing. Little interface. This connects right to my microphone to my computer. So
that's what I refer to as the digital sound card.
Okay, cool. So yes, digital sound card right here. They're perfect. You will never have to replace this unless you want to. Unless you really want to and you want to be fancy and have a little bit more, maybe you want to connect another microphone or whatever. You will never have to change this.
So how much are those roughly?
This one's about
average.
Don't talk about prices yet.
All right.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
You will get one in your price range and it will be good. It will last. It's it's subjective, you know, but that one that Tabetha's holding is a really good one. I bought it as a gift for my best friend, and he's been using it for years. So yeah, we'll come to that.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. You know what I mean? You don't need to get something crazy. Some people
No, especially when you're starting out. You know what I mean? So you got to be reasonable, and again, it's subjective. It all depends on what you got in your purse. But yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. So any more questions before I go over some
No, I'm cool.
other little things? But yeah, go ahead. What's up? What else would you like to know?
Ketchy, you haven't heard any questions from you. Would you like to ask anything?
No, actually, you've been really good at explaining everything, actually. Very interested in the equipment and the package suggestion. That's really cool. But no, everything else you talked about, it's actually been really clear. So thank you.
All right, come on. I'm a little nervous, okay? Because now people have to see me.
So you said something about assets earlier. I'm not going to ask this question again. What do you mean by assets? You said there are a lot of assets in voiceover recording. What's assets?
I actually don't remember what I was going to say for that.
Yeah, maybe you've already explained it, but yeah, it was one of your slides.
I think you were referring to different avenues.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was in that context. It sounded like that anyway.
Yeah, it's just different avenues that you can do for voiceover. So
okay, thank you.
I'll actually list them. So this is what I was actually looking for. So the different things you can do in voiceover are animation and anime are two different beasts, right? Anime, you can be that character for decades and make money and never have to work again a day in your life. Animation, the show can get cut in a week. Like it could be gone. Anime is harder because a lot of anime is not from here, you're dubbing. So you're doing the dub, right? So
you mean it's not English based, right?
It's not English based. So you're kind of just thrown to the wolves sometimes when it comes to anime. You don't have to learn a new language. It's just, can I do just as good as the original voice actors? That's all. Dubbing is difficult because now it's not just about my voice anymore. It's, can I lip sync with someone else's mouth flaps, right? So when you're watching anime and it's like, did they really say that? Or was that the dub? Which is why I love watching both, because that person in the sub or the original voice is super hyped. But then when you watch the dub, they have someone who probably hasn't seen the anime and they're like, this is awesome, right? Like they don't see it. And so now you have two versions of the same show, and most people are going to watch the sub version rather than the dub, unless you're a really good voice actor. And they're like, ooh, you make me want to watch this in my normal language. Okay. Like that's what we want to see. So anime, an entirely different beast. And it's a lot of training that goes into anime. A lot of training. Because you have to be that character for seasons on end. And when you're watching maybe regular animation, yeah, they're probably running and doing a couple of kits. But when you're watching anime, they're literally screaming. So can you scream for 3 hours straight? Can you start running in your closet for 3 hours straight? Can you do a bunch of hitting and fighting and movements for 3 hours straight? Can you do all of that and still be a character? And then actually still do the voice when people notice you in the street, because now they're like, oh, I know exactly who that guy is. Do the voice. Do the voice. I want to hear, like, do it now. And you're going to get bombarded. It's the same way. I don't know if anyone's watched Naruto, but the two original voice actors for the dub and the sub version of Naruto can never go outside. Ever. Because everyone knows who they are. It's the same thing where we love Mark Hamill that plays the Joker. We want to hear him be the Joker. That's all we want from him is his voice, nothing else. We don't want a picture. I want to hear you say my name. So anime is crazy. Animation is easier because you're going to get short little roles when it comes to animation, right? your Keji could play Barbie's dad or something, and he's like, honey, do you want cookies? And that's it. And that's his role, and that's all he will ever say is the dad. She goes out saying, you want cookies? All right, no, I don't. Cool, love you. That's it. So little bit different. Animation is a way easier because I'm not dubbing. It's my actual voice that I'm trying to convey to you. Also in animation, I can be a part of multiple shows. You can do it with anime. It's just going to be difficult. And anime doesn't pay well, if I can say that, to be very, very transparent with you. Anime doesn't pay well. You're getting about the same amount as you would as an actor, which, depending on what you're doing, how can I say this? Anime is like booking a couple of co-stars or supporting roles in TV and film. You're not going to get too much, depending on what show it is. Now, if you're the lead and it's a good show and it goes on for maybe 15 seasons, yeah, you might make enough. That's it.
Between 3 and 15. That's
3 to 15. It depends, because we never know what happens in anime. Because anything can happen. The dude who made the show could pass away, and that's it. That's the show, right?
What do you mean by anime? And animation is like cartoons and
Japanese
things.
anime.
Yeah, Japanese anime.
Animation.
Yes. So Japanese anime would be like Naruto, Inuyasha.
So it depends on where it's from, and so
Yeah.
that's how you name animation
Yeah.
genres. So
It
anime
depends on where it's from.
animation that's from Japan.
Mhm.
Oh, it's particularly Japanese, right? But
Yeah,
you make it seem as if it's quite popular.
It is.
It is very
Right, in America, maybe.
Worldwide.
Oh, worldwide, it is.
worldwide.
Okay.
Everywhere.
Worldwide.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. Because okay, got you. Right.
It's
But
popular.
it's gonna be dubbed then. So that's right, because you're doing it in
Yeah,
Japanese
It's
originally,
gonna
right?
be dubbed. Mhm.
Right, got you.
So instead, you're watching the show while voicing the character. So it's not
Yeah.
like, here's some lines, record and send it back to me. It's, hey, I need to now look at the lines, look at another screen to match what the sub people already kind of did. So if their mouth is open, I need to be speaking. If it's closed, I need to be shut. I hope I got my line in. If I didn't, we're starting over. We have to be as close as possible to their mouth flaps for it to be perfect, so it doesn't look like
those old Chinese kung fu movies. Do you remember the ones that dubbed?
Yeah, exactly like that. So they're watching the movie and just was like, okay, this one, say that line. Okay, great. That's how fast it is. It doesn't pay too well all the time, but if you really want to do anime and you have a love for it, it's perfect. Animation, we don't got to do no subbing and dubbing. Subbing and dubbing for animation is just being bilingual. It's just, go do it in Spanish. Go do it in another language. It's easy, right? Let's see. Where did I just have it? I think I was talking and I clicked off. But you can do commercials, promos. Some people, like the State Farm guy or the Progressive lady, right? They are considered voiceover actors and actors, but still, they're considered voiceover actors as well, because now you're getting about 2 checks, which is why I say actors should get into voice acting, because now you are the voice of that product, but you're also the face of that product. So when you don't see the, Progressive lady, whoever her name is, her Flo, or whoever promotes a product, and you still hear their voice, they're getting a check for that, plus residuals. So if you can be the face of something and the voice of something, you've won. You've won in life. That's what I want. Where is it? Because I just...
Yeah. Well, one question, you said you don't like commercials.
I don't.
Right. Is there any particular reason, or is it a personal thing, or is it just where you find you fit in, or what your voice can do? Is it one of those things?
It is. Some people can't do animation, right? So some people have that really good commercial voice. If you hear them talk, they can sell you anything, right? They're just like, hello, my name is Steve, and would you like to buy bacon across the street? You're gonna probably buy the bacon because they have a great voice, but
Bars.
they can't, yeah. But they can't do animation because they don't know how to maybe change their voice, how to do something. It's easy to sell someone something, it's harder to convey an emotion, right? So commercials for me, not my favorite. I don't mind doing them. I have a particular voice. Think of commercials as a TV weather reporter. They tell you about the weather, they're telling you about the news and the business. They're putting on a voice. That's not how they sound every single day. It is a very professional sounding voice. So you can hear every single word that they are saying. That is not how they talk in real life at all. And they'll be like, hello and welcome to the news. And then when they get outside, they're like, what's up? How you doing? Two different people, and they're putting on an act. So you may be really good in commercials and may have to take classes in animation. I went into animation first, but I have to take classes in commercials because I need to develop that professional sounding voice. So whatever field you want to get into first, and you know that I can do this easily, do it. And then take classes for the rest of them. And I still take classes for animation as well, but they're a little bit more involved. It's just kind of, hey, can you help me perfect a certain voice, rather than I need to go into a one-on-one class about animation. Go ahead.
So those classes that you're taking, do you recommend taking them at castingcall.club? Is that where you take yours at?
Yeah, and I'm also going to drop some into the chat right now.
Okay.
I would recommend them because it's taught by the people who are probably going to be looking at your auditions anyway, but it's also online. Voice Masters is also great. It's a little expensive, but
voice-masters.com.
Yes, a little bit expensive, but these are for people who are like, I really, really want to do voiceover full time. I always tell people, do not pay for expensive classes if you're already an actor, because you know what you're doing. You just need help making sure what are these voices are. How can I tell a story? Because we're learning that in our regular acting class. So if it's affordable for you, definitely take them. But if not, we can talk about maybe just putting yourself out there. In September, when I said I'm going to start doing voice acting, I found scripts online and just put them on my Instagram and was like, if it sucks, someone's going to tell me. And if it sounds horrible, and some people liked it. So here's another one. There is provoiceovertraining.com. I think these ones are video based. So if you're someone who's like, I don't really want to be in a class and you want to do it on a video basis on your own time, this is perfect. This is going to teach you an intro to voiceover, a voiceover intensive. It's a full course. And they're going to talk about your home studio setup and home studio treatment. So again, once we talk about, the packages of how you want to do your microphones and the treatment, you do not need crazy treatment for your house. Again, blankets, heavy pillows work. Some people even use kind of like foam and egg cartons. Like my kids who do voiceover, they don't have a crazy setup. You don't need to spend a lot of money at all. And then step 4 is kind of learning how to, like Keji was saying, maybe we can do a follow-up one about how to really clean up that audio. Right now, I sound great, but I sound even better when I send the audition off because I'm editing how everything sounds. And then, a little bit of a step 5 is just how to build a full-time career. For me, I do voiceover part-time. You need to know how much time are you willing to put into this. So if you want to do voiceover full-time, go fully into it. Go get that microphone, go get the interface, sign up for all the websites or whatever. But if you're an actor and you want to get into voiceover, you don't need to do too much. A lot of times they're going to send you to a studio. They're going to be like, all right, cool. The audition was great that you did from your house. It was awesome. But now we're going to send you to one of our studios where you just kind of show up and you record. they're gonna be listening on the other side of the, the little place that you're in, and you're gonna just do your work and go home and get paid in like 2 weeks when they send you a check. Um, Here's another one. This is also great for you, Kaji, since you're about to be in Atlanta. Again, a beginner voiceover intensive, and maybe you want to focus on characters. Maybe you're like, you know what? I feel like I could do this voiceover thing. It's not that hard. Cool. Let's develop some characters. You may just need to take a character class. If you don't have an agent.
And that's for the people who are listening and or watching that can't see the chat. That was atlantavoiceoverstudio.com. Okay.
Yeah. And also, if you're into another thing about voiceovers, that you can do narration, audiobooks. You can make a lot of money from audiobooks. Personally, there's just a lot of words. That's a lot of words you got to read. You're literally reading someone's story, but they will pay you, so it's cool. But audiobooks are perfect for that. If you're like, I don't want to do characters, I don't want to do commercials, I just want to sit and read a good book, and I have a good book reading voice, do it. And you can start off with like children's books.
And those are the people who will need a certain tier of home recording equipment, right?
Yeah.
So Kechi, I'm looking at you because she got that voice. I'm trying to read to waterfalls,
No, I'm actually very interested in audiobooks. That sounds really cool.
Okay, well, I'll talk a
And
little
radio
bit more.
I love that sort of stuff. Yeah.
So with audiobooks, you will need not a perfect setup, but you will need something. When we kind of go over, a setup shouldn't cost much because you can do it with a couple of moving blankets. Really, some PVC pipe. I've seen a lot of voice actors just have some PVC pipe, a bunch of blankets around, maybe a little bit of foam in the inside of the part where the blankets are, and that's it. Because all they're going to do is give you the book, and you're just going to read it. That's it. And I'll also send you where you can get work from that.
Right. So a valid follow-up. Sorry to cut you off. So I'll summarize what we've talked about, and then I'll talk about the follow-up. But I'm gonna let you finish. Tabetha, you just posted one more thing.
I did. That is acx.com. That is where you can find work for audiobooks.
Very good. And I know that IDSA also has a partnership with Audible.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a good thing to ask admin or ask our teachers and talk about how that partnership works. Like, I'm ready. I have a voice acting, set up, and I want to do that. Yeah.
And I think honestly, we were very lucky to even get that class. Shout out to Lydia. We out here. Okay, anyway. Because without her, I would be a mess. And I think that's the thing that was really my.
You had like an Audible class or a voice acting class?
A voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one as well for 6 weeks as well, actually.
Yeah. And honestly, that's what really got me into voiceover, because I was like, oh, snap, I could be in my pajamas and I could sound like this. And I could still connect. We did a couple of radio plays that I really, really loved. And I was like, this right here is amazing, because literally this is how we were in class. Hold up.
Yeah. And I found that useful because it's remembering that you're still acting, so you can have all the fun and not have to worry about your visuals. So you can be experimental, just take it further than you would if you were, screen acting, or if you're acting where they could see your face.
And the thing is, with that class, you know if you like it or if you don't like it. You know what I mean? You know if it's for you, if it's not. Doing it every week for 6 weeks. You know? Yeah, that's where I got inspired from as well. I was lucky to have that class. I haven't seen it. I had no more classes since. Have you had any classes, KG? Voiceover classes?
No, I haven't had. Right. So aside from Paso twice, I haven't had any like the radio class. The Lydia's class you're talking about. I need to have.
Yes,
that.
Lydia. I think her name was Lydia.
Amazing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You had Lydia, the English lady. No, she's American, but she was living in England.
Yeah.
That's the one I had.
Loved her.
Did she recommend you or something, or did you just? Or what happened? You just realized that, I like it.
It was highly praised. she was highly praised in our class.
Right.
Yeah.
Literally took to it like a duck to water. So good.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, she was such an amazing teacher because she really taught us about, of course, we're learning about acting at IDSA, but this was really just, you have a great voice. Now let's use that, because some people are like, okay, I have an accent, or I may go higher in my emotions, or I speak little, or I may have a soft voice. She's like, that's perfect. Now let's go use that in a script. And she also gave us scripts that played to our strengths, right? I wanted to be way more dramatic, but sometimes I would get scared doing that with TV and film. So once this came off, I could do it. You don't have to see me.
You're not conscious.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I really learned from her was reacting to what the person is saying, because she focused so much more on the words. So, you know, because they're not seeing your face, you have to react with your voice. And then you use that when you're acting, like where they can see your face, because you're already used to it, and it's learning how certain words can change a sentence. Kind of like the Shakespeare words, you know, we used to highlight like the end of the word and stuff, and like how questions you have to go up, and because I really love literature.
I am actually really learning from this, because this is new content for me, and I'm going, yes, because sometimes you're reacting to something someone is saying, but the camera's not on you, right? But you'll hear what that person is saying off camera, or how that person's reacting off camera, and that's as important as them seeing your face on screen going, you know, that kind of thing. And so,
and KG, to be honest, who was it? I think it was Michael Caine when he went to America, and he was doing a job with Sylvester Stallone. And Sylvester Stallone wanted less words. Michael Caine couldn't understand, because Michael Caine's he's a theatre actor. And in the book, it was saying that because if you're responding, the camera loves you, even if you're not talking. And if you're on screen, you have to be performing. Just sitting there looking at the person, you have to respond. And that response is in the eyes, because it's the screen, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And as you said, they will hear it in your voice. The audience will hear it, even if you don't hear it. That's why Meisner is good, because you're responding to the person. And even if you don't know you're responding, the audience will hear, and they will see it's false, because that guy did not respond to the way that guy said it. Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
That's. I mean, that's what I love about the craft, about being able to have, you know, to be with students, you know, like you guys in class, is that our experiences with these things are so diverse, but then when we come back together, we go, that makes sense. I'm going to apply that the next time I'm doing that. And then, so back to you, Tabetha, and then I'll do the roundup so that,
And I love what everyone said, because it's 100% true. For voice acting, I think it's everything that you don't say on TV and film, because now I have to make sure you feel that. So if they're like, hey, she's running, because sometimes an audition will be like, she's running into a field and laughing, and you have to do that. And I have to make sure I'm doing a genuine laugh. We got to do, I don't know if you guys also did it, but we got to do a lot of Dominique Morisseau plays, which she didn't know that I loved her, but she got to know that I did. And I love her plays so much. I got to do it with an actor friend of ours, Elgin. And literally it just started with us being like, yo, it's raining or whatever. I forgot the first couple of lines were, but those first lines in a voiceover script, especially when you're doing radio plays, they have to hit. I think Lydia told us in a class before that you don't even get to look at the script until they give it to you in a radio play. So I have to come in as just a regular old actor. It's making sure I got my chops on that day, because when that script is in front of me, I have to read it as if I've been looking at this for months, that I've been in this play for months. We've already developed chemistry. We're best friends. I could be in the room with like all my favorite actors, and I can't show them that I'm nervous because we're about to record. So if you're looking, and again, radio plays, audio dramas are on a huge rise. Those true crime audio dramas are insane. They scare me to death, but I'm afraid because they're making me afraid, because these are real things. But yes, if you're into narration, audiobooks and stuff like that, that's perfect. If you're a little bit more on the teacher and coaching side, I would highly recommend e-learning. Those are those people who you see when you're maybe getting your first job, or you're just like, snap, I need to do these little videos. And they're like, hello and welcome to the e-learning class. Today's 16,000 module we're going to learn today. Let's talk about your health. Like, those people make a lot of money, even though it's boring. They make a lot of money from e-learning. So.
And with that e-learning and all those academic stuff, you have to know what you're talking about as well.
Yeah.
Because I remember we had a voice. What was it? You know, when they test the teacher, IDS, and you have a teacher for like 3 hours, because that teacher's like auditioning. And we had a voice guy, and he was saying he does audios, and he's had some, like, he was doing an audio on something about quantum physics or something, do you know? And he didn't know it, so you had to go out and do the research on it because it wouldn't sound right, do you know?
Also, I put some more classes in the chat. This is what my UK people, okay? In the UK, which is what the industry part of what I'm trying to get into, they have a lot more.
Could you name what those links are? The links that you put in chat, could you read them out? So
Sure. So one of the links are voiceovercamp.camp.
Voiceovercamp.camp or voiceover.camp?
Oh yeah, voiceover.camp. Voiceover.camp. If you're looking for those kind of a little bit more intimacy in your voiceover when it comes to classes, voiceover.camp is perfect. Also, for my UK people in the BBC, because it's different, we have citylit.ac.uk or citylit.com, because it just comes up for that too. Perfect for my UK people who are looking to get some voiceover classes, because audio drama and radio plays are huge. We're kind of getting it over here in the States, but it's not as huge as it is on BBC. Y'all can literally you could be in a season run and be perfect and set for the rest of your life. Just like Lydia does. She has an alias. Lydia told us about that, I think. Yes? Right, Catchy? I don't know if her alias is in...
She's acting, but she didn't tell us that her alias, but I mean, she was established, or she is established.
Yes, she's an established. We just don't know who she is.
And we've probably heard her in something.
Probably. I feel like she's probably the voice of something huge, and now we're like, oh,
yeah.
No wonder you didn't tell us, because we would have lost our minds and been upset in class all day. So yeah, radio presenting, acting for radio and podcasts, those are perfect. And also for voice acting, if you have a podcast, you're a voice actor. If you can do a podcast, you can do voiceover. It's real easy. It's the same thing. We're just talking into a microphone.
Yeah.
So just wanted to make that cool, because some people try to say that voice actors and podcasting are two different things. They're not. Really, really not. Casting Call Club.
So again, but then you know, they're not different, but then remember the big A, small V, right?
Yeah. Big A, small V. When it comes to acting in a podcast, you put on a persona. Let's just say that. You do put on a certain persona when it comes to your podcast, because you're like, hey, I'm the girl that talks about health. I talk about education, whatever. You're still kind of putting on something, because you want.
So there's an act in podcasting.
Yeah, there's an acting in podcasting. You want people to listen. You know, you're not just rambling. I mean, some people do, but they're coming back because they like your energy.
Right.
So you may come into the podcast. Maybe you're listening to a sports podcast. They all have a tone. Every sports podcast has a tone. They're just like, yeah, and he does this and this and that. But then when you're going to maybe to a fashion blog, they're like, yeah, we're talking about these things. It's super cool. And maybe if you're talking about a video game podcast, they're like, all right, guys, we're all talking about headsets. All the same, but they're putting on some kind of persona. They want you to come back for more. The same way with voice actors. We want you to continue to watch the show, so we're going to put our all into it. The same, but different. But I don't want people to be like, oh, I just do a podcast, I can never be a voice actor. Nah, you can, because you know what you're doing. I still have to edit. I still have to make sure everything sounds good. I still have to have a microphone. A lot of people use the Shure SM7Bs for podcasts, but still, you can actually still use that for voiceover. So you're perfect. And I'm going to share with you guys my bookmark. I'm going to share with you guys some of my scripts so then you can practice on your own. So this is a Google Drive of some commercials that you would probably get in your professional career as a voice actor. If you're already an actor and you're like, hey, I want to get into voice acting, this is a Google Drive of some commercial copy scripts. These are real scripts that I've done.
I'll share that with everyone who's in attendance, and anyone who's watching this who wants it, just reach out to me. My IG is KEJIFATUNDE on Instagram. So DM me and I'll send it to you. Don't bother Tabetha, okay?
I don't mind. I do not mind at all.
So I think so. We've done the work. We've heard a lot. We've asked questions. I'm going to give just a couple more minutes for questions. I'm going to give Tabetha some more time to give some final thoughts, and then I'll do a wrap up, and then we'll talk about what makes sense to do next. I think there's a logical follow up to what we just did here today. So questions first, then Tabetha wrap up, and then I'll go.
Any questions?
So any more questions?
Whether doesn't matter if it sounds like a crazy question, it's probably not. It's probably an easy question. I also shared a Google Drive to some promo stuff, so practice that.
So before, did you say that voice actors don't have agents?
So
no, go ahead.
So for voice actors, you don't necessarily need an agent because you're your own business. That's why I was like, when you start getting a little bit more established, you can really present yourself differently. So as the motorcycles go, they have a field day outside. Okay, so for a voice actor,
we couldn't hear that at all. So
okay, good. So for a voice actor, you'll be a little bit more established. When you have a website, you have your reels together, people will start coming to you for work. Voice acting is a business. So for actors, we have to constantly audition. We have to put ourselves out there. We have to have an agent at some point to get those bigger auditions. For a voice actor, you can actually just be good and you can be a part of a roster. So a roster is, I'm going to send you auditions from my own production studio. And if I like you, I'll pick you. Which is why voice actors do not need an agent, because I can sign up as a voice actor for anime and be a part of Funimation's roster. And so anytime they have an audition, they're going to be like, okay, let me look at my roster.
Company. Okay.
Yeah, you can join the company.
Agencies for voice acting. I was just wondering, is
and
for the pay?
Yeah,
that
and
makes
if you're
sense,
an actor,
actually, most of them are the same.
Oh yeah. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that makes sense actually. Yeah, because in terms of the animation, I know most of them are done by the same or similar companies. Like there's a few big companies. So if you're joining the company,
yeah, you don't need any work once you join the company. You have consistent auditions coming to you where you don't have to worry about giving an agent 15-25%. That money goes strictly to you because you're a part of their database of actors who can do work. Now, that's a little bit further down in your voice acting career because you have to have an amazing demo reel for them to pick you in those bigger companies. But once they do, you can audition for a huge anime show every single day. And one day they're going to pick you and that's it. So for a voice actor, you're your own business. So maybe you don't want to do animation, but you're like, hey, I want to just do announcements for local churches, or I just want to do kind of local business commercials and stuff like that. I can provide a service for you. Go do that. You can set your own prices. That's a follow-up one when we start talking about how much we should be getting paid as a voice actor, because it's highly different from an actor. It's going to sound crazy when I say this, but trust me, we're going to do a class on it. As a voice actor, you can get paid by the word. So it could be 50 cents a word, and it's 15,000 words. How much is that? How much is that altogether? A lot, I'm assuming.
$7,500.
7,000. Yeah.
Great, exactly. And that's how much your project would be. So when you start really developing yourself, put your price. Not every project needs to be unpaid for a voice actor. It's just once you feel like you've done enough to set a price, set it. My price personally, and I'll just share it with you guys, is what, like 15 cents a word, or you can charge by the line. So every line, every sentence is $10. Because you now have to start paying me not only for my voice, but for my equipment. If you want a quality voice actor and you want my quality sounding equipment, you have to make sure that I am paid for that. Now you can go to someone who's free and, you know, they have a USB microphone and they sound like they're underwater, sure, but you're not going to get the quality that you want. So when you really start getting established, make up your own prices or go with an agent and they'll handle all that for you. If you're lazy and you're like, I don't want to handle any of that kind of stuff, get an agent. But an agent for voiceover, they're still going to get you those big auditions and they'll get you some really amazing commercials because they have those connections. So I may get a chip commercial over Catchy, right? Because I have an agent, but she may actually know some people that works at another chip company and she may get it just because they're friends. And they're like, yeah, I need this specific voice. Catchy has that voice. Let's go hire her. She'll get all that money. She'll get the entire $5,000 while I'll have to give my agent 15% because they found that job for me. So it just kind of depends on how you want your career to go when it comes to voice acting.
So as a person with an agency, if the agency finds you a job, you have to pay them, but you are still free to find your own jobs yourself.
Mm-hmm. And when you find your own jobs, you don't have to pay them.
Right, I need to go. Sorry.
Yes, yeah. Go ahead.
I need to go. So can I just ask one last question before I leave? Now, as actors, I know worldwide 2% of professional actors are working. Mm-hmm. Right? Is that the same with voiceovers?
It's not. More, yeah, it's not, because there's so much work. So much more work. Again, you have to see us. Again, like you said, it's about looks, right? Depending on how you look or whatever. But there are consistent people making animation because so many people want to work with these big companies. So if I'm an animator and I want to work with Pixar, I need voice actors. As long as there's animators in the world who want to work with big companies or want to have their own big production companies, we will always have work. Now, in anime, yes, there's that 10% that actually works. But if you're looking just for commercials and promo, narration, audiobooks, you will always have work. Always have work. Which is why some actors get into voice acting, because that can pay the bills until I'm on TV and film. So
yeah, I have I'm at this film school and I have one tutor and she says her bread and butter mainly is voiceovers, even though she's an actress and a teacher. That's where she earns her money. So that's very interesting. Listen, I'm gonna leave.
Set you for the rest of one commercial can set you for the rest of your life.
Brilliant. So thank you. Thank you very much. I've really learned a lot. And I'll definitely be back if there's more. Yeah, but I do have to leave. And I'll see you on next week for showcase time.
Class.
Yeah. God bless you. Bye-bye, everyone.
David.
Thank you.
David.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
And so I want to do a wrap up if I'm allowed, and then we can all, go and have the rest of our Saturdays.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So we have been taught, we've been blessed. It's been an awesome learning experience. And it's been eye-opening as to how accessible voice acting is. Aside from the fact that we've had teachers in the past who taught us about it and who've opened our eyes up, Tabetha, thank you for opening our eyes up. So she told us, Tabetha has told us about how available, how open-ended voice acting is. Talked about how commercial work is very much out there, and as actors, we are only a couple of hours away from getting our first acting job because we know our voices, and we just need to know where to go to start auditioning. Another big piece of it is being able to emote, and when you're able to emote, you can portray real characters without people actually seeing those characters. We got that out of Tabetha's seminar about making sure that you have a good environment, a decent environment and decent equipment in order to get your voice acting career started so that you stand out immediately. As actors, I don't advocate that we start out with the entry-level equipment. And so I'm going to develop 3 different categories of equipment: entry-level, intermediate, and professional. I'm not doing advanced because I am not IDSA, okay? So I'm going to do that. And so that if you only want to spend maybe less than $100 on your whole setup, you can have that. And then if you want to spend something intermediate, you can have that. And that intermediate package will get you through about 10 years of voice acting. So I can put that together for you. And then the advanced is people who are balling and they just want tip top whatever. So we're going to have access to that as people who attended this. I will put that together within this weekend and send it out to everyone who attended. And then we talked about different tiers of voice acting. So we talked about how anime is more involved but less pay, and how animation could be short-lived, but you can get a decent amount of pay from that. We talked about radio plays. We talked about ads. Ads. We talked about doing work at the local level versus doing work at big international corporations. We talked about getting jobs through agents, which you have to pay, and getting jobs by yourself, which is also possible, which you keep all the money. And so with that, am I missing out on anything, Tabetha, before I wrap up?
No. Everyone that attended, hopefully they can get the links I provided and the Google documents of the commercial and promo. Like I said, commercial will be
When I send out the
the
packages,
bulk.
I'm going to send that as well.
Yeah. Commercial will be the bulk of your work. So practice those scripts, put them out on your social media, or send it to just close friends. If you're like, oh, I don't want to do that one, send it out to close friends and be like, hey, did I sell you on this? And keep practicing until you sell them on it.
The work is the work. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And so with that, one thing I also missed, thank you for saying that, is another tier that I missed was Audible. So a book, what do they call it?
Audiobooks? Audibles?
Audiobooks. Yeah, there you go. Audiobooks. I know it's in there. Audiobook reading, So once you have your environment, once you have your setup, audiobooks, you could go into that. So the next logical follow-up is, okay, I have my equipment. How do I record? How do I edit?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put together a 1-hour seminar on that. I'll work with Tabetha, and we'll make sure we cover the immediate topics you need to you have your equipment, gotta go in 2 hours and start submitting. Because don't take your iPhone and do it. That's you're selling yourself short. You need to start at least 75th percentile so that you can start getting the good job. So that's going to be the logical follow-up. I'll send out the documents after this. And this was amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Tabetha. Anyone watching after?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyone watching after this, why weren't you here? And make sure you're at the next one. Tabetha, take us home.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming. This is super cool. Like I said, I kind of just started, but it's been booming for me. And if that's any advice to you guys who are just starting in voiceover, that you can start right now and be perfect. You may think I'm a little nervous, my voice isn't ready, but you are 100% ready, because it's all about your voice and acting. And just try it. Literally, I just started 30 projects.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just do the work. The work is the work is the work. You know, we all know that thing. You
All
don't do
right,
the work, you know. Yeah.
So thank you so much. Thank you for all the attendees. And you can touch the recording button whenever you like to stop it. And have a great weekend, guys.
Yeah.